In a world full of noise and confusion and unanswered questions, I believe there's power in pausing and asking the right ones. Welcome to I Seek Answers, a platform where stories are shared, stigmas are challenged, and healing begins through honest conversation. I'm Gideon Basan from I Seek Help International, and today I Seek Answers. Today is a very special episode. It's entitled Seeds, Setbacks, and Second Chances. And this is a story of a woman that turned every ending into new beginnings. Welcome, Schantel. A mother,
Thank you.
a creative force, and an unstoppable entrepreneur. Also the owner of Vanderfax, which we'll learn more about. And her life is a reminder that every setback is just seeds waiting to grow. So I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today. Welcome. And who's Schantel? Where are you from? What do you do?
I was born in Springs, a small town on the East Rand, but I actually lived in Dalmas. My father and mother were second-hand car dealers, and I basically grew up in their office. I loved school, loved the community, and I was a bit of a ambassador for my little town. I loved the architecture there, and I could see the beauty amongst the ugly little town called Springs. Yes.
Fantastic. Sure, Chantal, you've had such a colorful life and you are doing such amazing things. I'm so happy to have you on our podcast today. And, I know we had some time to reflect on a few things that happened to you, and you've had some phases in your life, and you were in a very exciting phase of your life. But I'm really interested in getting to know that little girl that started out when she was 9 years old, selling chocolates at school, and how your whole journey of being an entrepreneur started, and how your every little setback in your life gave you the opportunity to refocus, rebrand, and recalibrate your life, and how every single setback became a new focus for you, something that you wanted to do and achieve. So tell us about that little girl, that 9-year-old that was selling melted chocolates at school.
I think I'm gonna ask every dad out there with a little girl to invest in a little dollhouse, because
Okay.
I was the only child for 9 years, and I got a little dollhouse, and that's where the creativity started. I would turn it into a sweet shop, and then to a hairdresser, and then to a restaurant, and my parents had to play with. So yeah, from a young age, I've always had this inherent will or desire to start a business, to sell something. And I think my parents saw that. So I came to them with the idea, what if I melt little chocolates and sell it at school? And my dad, his response was, okay, I'll sponsor the first batch and I'll sponsor the shapes. And then from there on, you carry on. So he did that. And soon it became quite a booming business. I would have this cute little case that I open, and kids would just storm around and start buying my chocolates. So much so that the school actually called my parents and said, listen, it's great what she's doing, and she's doing really well, and we're proud of her. We don't want to break her will and her spirit. However, the school tuck shop is getting a beating from it. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then you were asked to actually shut down your little entrepreneurial chocolate business.
Yes, I was, but some of the teachers allowed me in class to still open up the case, because I think they were actually promoting it because they could see what was happening. There was growth happening. So yeah, they didn't stop me completely, but some of them allowed me to sell in their class.
So that's an interesting, part of your life, because it also brought in maybe a few lessons, So what did you learn about power and systems and persistence? What is the lesson that you can take from that? I mean, you had this idea, your dad was fully on board, obviously with his background and buying and selling and with your mother as well, and you seeing how exciting it can be to do the power of the deal, starting your own little business. Now you get shut down. So what lesson can you take, or what did you take from that specific situation?
I think I actually didn't. I can't remember that I ever felt, oh, I have to shut down. It kind of inspired me to do the next thing.
Yes.
And it was fun. It was actually playing and not so much running this business that I have to do because I have to pay accounts and stuff. So it was fun, and I had a lot of friends supporting me, and a family as well. A lot of family who would just randomly buy stuff just to support me. So I never really felt sad that I had to stop. It actually made me think of the next thing and what am I going to do next. And yeah.
Fantastic. I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. So, if you have to go back to your 9-year-old self, and will there be another message that you would give her today?
Yes, definitely. I would say never stop dreaming, because the one dream led to the next, and I could see that by stepping into it and actually doing something,
Yes.
it helped me with the next and the next and the next. So even though there were setbacks, I just kept dreaming and enjoying myself, which is something I sometimes struggle with today.
Yes.
Enjoying the moment and realizing what you've achieved up until now, but focusing on the problem and the next problem to solve. So
Wow.
I think the 9-year-old can actually teach me something.
I love that. So what we just said there is extremely important, because I know we've got people from all walk of life that is watching this. We've got entrepreneurs, we've got um, women, we've got men, we've got people that are sometimes achieving something in life, and they might be a little bit stuck and really reaching their full potential. And what you just said was, keep on dreaming and just take the next step. Even if you can't see it, too far in the future, just take the next step. Just do what you can see right in front of you right now, what you can find to do today. Do it, and then tomorrow will take care of tomorrow, and tomorrow, the day after that, will take care of that as well. Wow,
Exactly.
that is amazing. So I know that your experience at primary school with the chocolates, then gave birth to some more exciting things that happened to you in high school. So, just tell us a
Yes.
little bit about what happened then after that experience of yours. How did it feel, your next adventure, and how did it feel the next part of your life, going into bigger and better things?
So the selling of like sweet things to kids continued even in high school. And then I had a teacher, a modeling teacher actually, who told me she was traveling to Bangkok buying merchandise, and then she'd come and sell it at her school. And I was like, wow, I'd love to do that. And she was like, I need a partner in this because I'm sleeping in hotels alone and I'm traveling alone. And we got along really well, even though there was about a 25-year gap between our ages.
Okay.
So she actually, I said to her, but how am I going to convince my parents? So she took her little business plan and went and made a meeting with my dad and said, listen, I'm doing this and I can see your daughter's keen to do something similar. There's money to be made, there's experience to be learned. And then I've got a companion on my trips. And he actually said yes. I was surprised, she was surprised, and the same thing applied. He said that I would pay for your trip and your first spending money, but you have to pay me back and thereafter make it work for yourself. So I think he thought it would be a once off, but I eventually went every third month, and the school actually said it's fine. They allowed me to take a few days off once every 3 months to go on a 5 or 6 day trip,
Sure.
um, where I would walk the streets of Thailand, look for interesting things that I can't buy in South Africa to go sell to my friends.
Wow.
And then my art teacher at school, she actually opened her class on Fridays. And we had an advertisement on the school premises Friday. Schantel will be exhibiting all her stuff from Bangkok, and the kids would come and bring their parents to come buy clothes or come buy shoes or jewelry or whatever I had there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. That is so remarkable. So, one thing that I get from your excitement and, when you share the story, you absolutely light up, your face changed, your tone changed, it was all those experiences, all those wonderful things, all those cultures that you got to experience as a younger version of yourself. And one thing that I actually just realized was that, your circumstances that you found yourself in, if it wasn't for your supportive parents, if it wasn't for your supportive teachers, what would have happened? If you think back to all those opportunities that you got, and you basically grabbed it with both your hands, and you had that support system to actually carry you through. So if there's a parent or a mentor or someone listening in today, and they have someone that's excited and wants to do something, how important is a support structure in creating the right environment for someone to succeed?
Exactly. And I mean, it cost me extra work because I had to catch up on schoolwork, I had to prepare for exams earlier sometimes, um, and run this little business. But I think they actually also learned that in society there's rules and regulations, but sometimes you have to step out of it to make something work. And I feel there was a lesson there for everybody, because what seemed impossible, why would a 16-year-old travel overseas to buy this during school? And I mean, what's the motivation for it? It was just dreaming and having fun again.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and if I first thought, what about my schoolwork? Or my dad's going to say no because of this or that, I would never have leaped into it and gone for it. But I'm really glad I did. And I'm glad that my teachers and everyone were supportive. And my friends, they were my clients. I
Fantastic.
appreciate them.
Wonderful. So, Chantal, the big question I've got for you around that first part of your life, how did you overcome the fear?
I think I was naive. I was still naive, and in a good way, because the world was out there for me to explore. I was confident enough, and I think that is my parents' work, that I was confident to get onto an aeroplane, go to a country which I've never been to, with a person that I know, but it's not a family member. Um, yeah. I
Fantastic.
think it was the naivety. It was dreaming once again. It's dreaming of
Yes.
what there is to discover, and yeah, just being in the moment and doing it. And it
Yes.
actually happened by itself. I mean, I didn't have a business plan. I'm gonna go buy that amount of this, that amount of this, that amount of this. Yes, while I was walking there and I got pricing, I had to bargain, because Thailand is a country where they don't sell without bargaining. Bargaining is part of their tradition.
Yes.
So that taught me to bargain, get the best price, and obviously being in a car sales office, learning how to sell something to people, how to treat people, it was all a good, all good ingredients to get a final product. Yes.
Wow. Often I speak to entrepreneurs, and when I ask them, what is the one thing that you are sad about, or one thing that you wish you learned earlier on in your life, it always comes down to, the art of selling, the art of, the deal, the art of entering into a conversation with someone and bargaining with them. So you were exposed with that when you were 9 years old, then when you went to high school, and then the next phase of your life, the next part of your life, also kind of like took shape as a result of what you did when you were a little bit younger. So tell us what happened next. What was the next phase after your high school project, and you were fairly successful with that? The next part of your life, you set off to go and work in London.
Yes. So I was never a student. However, when my parents said in matric, grade 12, you will get 1,000 rand for each distinction, I just suddenly got 3.
Okay.
and I was motivated by the money. So I thought, wow, I'm clever. I've got a good report. I've got everything going for me. And I went to apply at the university, and I didn't get accepted. And I was like, what? So I was like, why would they not accept me? I had a great meeting, I had a great portfolio, and I had great marks. So instead of letting it bring me down, my dad also, he had the suggestion, why don't you go work overseas? And I was like, yes, why don't I do something else that I love, which is traveling? And I mean, London, who's going to say no? Yes. So again, my dad, he got an agent and helped me get there, but I had to look after myself. I knew that I cannot call my parents and say, listen, I've run out of money. That's no option. And I never did. So I'm proud to say I never did. There was a month that I had to eat baked beans and toast 3 times a day if I had enough bread and baked beans, because a bread was 10p and a can of baked beans was 8p. That is what I could afford. I remember the place I stayed, they actually allowed me to pay them off for my rent. So it took a while because I'm 18 years old. I've got no experience. Who's going to hire me? Nobody's going to hire me. But I did get a job at a company, a marketing company that did direct sales. So I was on the street in the rain, in the snow, in the wind, selling gas and electricity to people walking by.
Wow.
The toughest job on earth. And I have a lot of respect for people in telesales. I can never be rude to them because I can never say no. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I can't, because I know what it feels like being on the other side and working for commission. So it was a very tough job. So that taught me as well how hard you have to work to actually get money and survive. It was a shock to my system, and my whole first year was a fight. It was a huge fight. I came home after the first year, and my dad said, why don't you go study to be a teacher? And I'm not looking down at teachers. I love teachers. I think they help us all, get somewhere. However, it was not my calling.
Yes.
And I said, I'm sorry, no, I want to go back to London for my second year. I only have 2 years that I can go. I'm definitely taking the second year.
Yes.
And I remember my words, to fix whatever I did wrong in my first year.
Wow.
And I just, that holiday at home, I just decided to do a mental shift and focus on doing it right. And I got back, and I was 19 years old, and I got recruited by a security company to do reception work, but at Warner Brother Record Company.
Okay.
So again, I was like, wow,
Amazing.
I thought I had the best job ever. I had a security uniform, but I'm working at Warner Brothers. I mean, who can say? And I saw a lot of famous singers. I met songwriters, and I saw all the photography and design portfolios coming in at the reception.
Yes.
And I would always sneak and peek in there. And I was like, wow, I want to do this one day. So I started applying to all the universities in South Africa to do graphic design, to study graphic design. And I got in at three accepted me
Wow.
from abroad.
Wow.
And when I got back, I was like, nah, I don't want to go to university. I want to go to a specialized college that specializes in this. So I did go study and I got my bachelor's degree in information design and marketing.
Wow, amazing. So,
Yeah.
so the second year then in England became a security guard at the reception. You then started looking at all these different designs, and you started really understanding what it is that you wanted to do. You applied,
Yes.
came back to South Africa. You got your qualifications, and then what happened then?
So I was a photographer and designer for 17 years. I traveled the world. I did weddings in Paris, in Germany. I hosted workshops. I also went to other photographers' workshops to learn unique things and be different. And also you do develop a lot and you do learn a lot just by traveling. So each different place taught me something. And that is one thing that I don't mind spending all my money on, and that is traveling, because
Yes,
I think it's the best teacher ever.
yes,
And that actually came from my first Thailand tours, that I realized, shoot, this is actually teaching me so much.
yes.
Yeah, so I did that, and during lockdown, obviously, we had to stop, and I couldn't photograph any more weddings, not here or abroad. I
Sure.
couldn't photograph families, and that was my thing. And the thing with photography is, it actually, you're also a salesperson.
Yes.
You are entertaining people and selling to them to smile and enjoy the photos, because then you've got a good product.
Sure.
So again, that developed my sales and my people's relation skills.
Yes. So the one thing led to the other thing, but before we move on, I'm actually curious about all those years of being a photographer. What is the one thing, looking at people through a lens, what is the one thing that you learned about people and that you learned about yourself? Apart from being a good salesperson, or apart from getting them engaged and getting them to participate in what your product is and what your end product, what the vision is that you want to create, what is the one thing that you learned from people through the lens?
I think people don't see themselves. They don't look at themselves. They don't see the beauty in them, because a lot of people used to tell me I'm not photogenic, and I would say, I'm sorry, I don't believe that. Like, in the right light, in the right moment, any person can look beautiful. And that was my challenge. I knew I could make anyone, I had the confidence, I can make anyone look good on a photograph. But I realized that they don't see themselves that way. A lot of the times people would receive their photos and say, oh, I can't believe this is me. It feels like someone else. And that would be the best feedback for me, because I was like, but this is you. It
Yes.
is you. And then I realized that even I myself, I don't look at myself the way I should. And I'm still struggling with that to this day. I'm hard on myself. It's never good enough. We can always improve. We can always
Yes.
do better. But sometimes you have to actually back yourself and say, well done, you've actually come this far. You've done this. So chill.
Sure. Sure. That's amazing. And it's a good reminder for everybody watching this today, that when you surround yourself with the right people, it can actually bring out the best in you. And it is so true in what you are saying, is that we each have a responsibility towards each other to constantly remind ourselves and to remind other people in our presence that we are totally unique, that our space is being taken up by us. Nobody else can have that space. And that we need to make the best of our space. And we have a choice every single day. We can either complain or we can do something about it. We can
Yes.
either respond and be negative, or we can, add value where we go. I absolutely love that. Thank you very much for sharing that. So, in working as a photographer and weddings and traveling the world, I'm pretty sure you are used to working under pressure and hitting deadlines, but also to find the joy in what you're doing, and especially when you went abroad to go and learn from other people. What is the one thing that stands out for you in terms of being a photographer and working in an environment where there is major pressure, major deadlines, but also how do you find the joy?
So yes, photography is 8 to 12 hours on your feet at a wedding, constantly entertaining, always smiling and being in a good mood. So it really works on your character, and
Yes,
you have to actually work on that. Because your what you say and do affects everyone around you. So it is hard work. It's draining. Like some, usually on Sundays after weddings, I would be like a vegetable. I would binge eat, and it's almost as if I'm in shock. It was really tough. And then on Monday, I'm in front of the computer, downloading, backing up, editing, 8 to 10 hours a day. So
sure.
it taught me a very good work ethic. Okay, but that also takes me back to my work at Warner Brothers, where I had to work 12-hour shifts. I had to travel 2 hours, and there's not a lot left for myself. So on off days, I would jump on a bus and just ride and just look at things and just see beautiful things and just buy something beautiful to eat and just realize I'm still a human, I'm not not a machine. um, but that work ethic has, went into my photography, and I did have to sometimes tell myself, Chantal, you have to rest, you have to look after yourself. So self-care became very important to me, and family life and spending time at home. And also I realized that people need to be in a quiet space.
Yes.
Sometimes the music, the TV, everything has to be shut off, and you have to
Yes.
just breathe in, just be in nature or wherever. And that was something that could heal me, heal me from all of the work
Yeah.
stress, basically.
Wow.
Yes, and to this day, that is very important to me. Very
Wonderful.
important.
Yeah, we tend to be on a roll when we get going with something and when we're passionate about something and there's deadlines and all these pressures and you just did a wedding over the weekend and now everybody wants waiting for the photographs. So you always constantly have something that's pushing you towards something and pushing you into a direction. And I don't know if it's for you the same, but I know for me, especially when I am in that mode where I'm creating and I'm working and I'm busy, just taking a little bit of time out sometimes make me more creative and makes me more productive at the end of the day. So it is vital, especially if you are, an artist and someone that constantly thinks about new things and are creative, is to remove all the outside noise, all the input
Yes.
that you get, and just to be with yourself. Because I don't know if it's the same for you, but you're like, you get re-energized just by being with yourself and having your own thoughts and having that opportunity to reflect on what happened, just the last few days or just the last few hours. So
Definitely.
that's
And
very,
then
very
in those quiet moments, you also realize your mistakes. You can actually. So I realized if I have a proper contract in place, um, that I give to a wedding client, they will feed me. They will give me a place to sit. They will look after me
yes,
if it's in a contract. So I started compiling this contract where, you know, people would look after me at their weddings. If you don't do that, they're just going to make you stand around and forget to feed you. And
yes,
I mean, so I built a really good relationship with my clients by doing a meeting pre-wedding where we
yes.
discussed everything. And also I had a mental shift there where I decided I'm choosing my clients. They think
Wow.
they're choosing their photographer, but at the meeting, I'm literally realizing this person and I is not going to work. And many times when I said to myself, it's not going to work, but I then said, no, I'll take the job, there were definitely issues. So to learn to listen to that inner voice, to yourself, if something's not going to work, believe it
Yes.
and follow that through.
Wow. Sure. Thank you very much for sharing it. That's so important. And I again, when you talk about this, you just light up. You're just so excited about what you've done. It's obviously all the memories and all the things that you've experienced over the years. And I want to ask you, so if this part of your life, this creative chapter of your life, if it had a soundtrack or a playlist, what would it be called?
Um, there's this song by Fun, and it's actually like this war song. I'm sorry, but that is now coming up. It's a war song where it says one foot in front of the other, just keep going. Like
Keep
you're
going.
tired, but go.
Yes.
And just believe in yourself once again. I think you just keep going, because if you sit and you don't do anything, I think there's more damage done than working and not stopping. There's always a person to meet, there's always an experience to have, and even in those very hard working circumstances, I have the best stories to tell.
Yeah.
And because of that, it made it possible for me to travel the world, to meet interesting people, and to just appreciate life more than the actual work. It was more about people, and I could see the beauty in people, and how, I mean, I cried at many speeches at weddings, and I don't even know the people. I would just cry and think, wow, how beautiful. Like, I
Yes.
want to know these people. And I think that the clients I chose for myself that came to me were inspiring people. So that
Sure.
just made me go on and on and on. So again, surrounding yourself with the right people,
People.
even when it comes to clients, choosing the
Yes.
correct clients.
Sure. So that is absolutely fascinating, and I've got a philosophy in life that there's no failure, there's only feedback. So I guess this applies to that as well, where you can look at things as failure, but you can also look at it as feedback. To say, okay, listen, that wasn't a failure, that was just I need to protect myself a little bit better. I need to prepare better. So thank you very much for reaffirming that and for sharing how important that is. So the next part of your journey was a little bit more difficult. When COVID happened and the whole
Yes.
world got shut down. So you had a thriving business. You were enjoying what you were doing. You were traveling the world, meeting people, and all of a sudden, within a space of 7 days, everything got shut down. All the bookings dried up. Cancellations came in,
Yep.
refunds had to be made. Sure, what a
Yes.
scary time it was for all of us. And when I first spoke to you, I really honestly didn't have the understanding of exactly the impact and everything that you had to go through. So, what was your first response to that? Was it fear, disbelief? Were you a little bit relieved? Were you excited about what was coming next? Or were you completely paralyzed?
I think it was a combination of all of that. So it was scary to think that I've received these deposits on weddings, but now we're moving it a year in advance. So everything, all my income is split in half. Um, then the powerless feeling of not being able to do anything, slowing down. But I think the slowing down part was great, because you were forced to slow down. You were forced to spend a lot of time just thinking, being quiet. And I was very lucky. I lived on my one of my dad's farms, so we were able to go jog and do picnic outside, and we had a lot of space to our advantage. And I realized how important it is to me to be able to see far, to have space around me is very important to me. So I'm so grateful that I had that. Um, But yes, it was very scary. However, sometimes if you know you can't do something about something,
Yes.
it actually empowers you. So
Mm.
I can't change what's happening. Everyone else is going through this. It's not just me. What am I going to do to get a positive outcome? And I just decided I'm going to grow vegetables. I'm going to do a vegetable patch and I'm going to grow vegetables and I'm going to do online courses. A lot of people actually hosted free online courses because it was COVID to help people. And a lot of it were very expensive courses that I was able to get for free. And I was like,
Wow.
wow, I'm going to embrace this. So I did a
Yes.
workshop on soil health and suddenly my
Wow.
brain exploded. It made me so excited. I can compare it to the excitement of going overseas the first time, of doing my first overseas wedding, you know. So I was like, wow, I did not know this. And I realized that if I wanted to do a sustainable garden, a beautiful vegetable garden, I'm gonna need flowers to get the bees there and to help with nematodes in the soil. And I just embraced it. I was like, what else can I do? Let me grow stuff. And I started posting some of the photos on social media. And when lockdown finished, because of the people in the wedding industry, a lot of the florists said to me, can we buy some of your flowers? And I'm like, yes, you can buy some of my flowers. And it was just so inspiring thinking that I never studied for agriculture. I got
Mm.
something right because I did a lot of studying online, and it wasn't just agricultural studies. It was marketing. It was
Mm.
all different varieties, like finances. I did everything I could possibly do, and yeah, now I'm selling something that I never thought possible. So this was to me, wow, something has come along. I'm grabbing it, even though I don't know much about it, and it's starting to work because I'm stepping into it again.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just taking that one step in front of the other one. Just keep going. Keep
just
going.
doing it.
All right.
Mm.
Wow. So then you started the veggie garden. You started planting flowers, and things were going great. You were growing. You were getting people that was interested in your produce. And then obviously after COVID, everybody or the world returned to a little bit of a new norm, and then another
Yeah.
obstacle came your way. So what happened next?
So I remember crying like a baby. I had a launch on the farm. So we had now built a net house. It was growing sunflowers right up to the roof
Wow.
and beautiful cut flowers. So I decided I'm going to spend some money, invite all the florists I know as a marketing strategy to come and enjoy the net house and see the flowers. And a day before the launch, um, we got word that my dad is selling the farm. So he's buying a new farm. We can move to the new farm. But this farm is in Bella Bella and it's not where we specifically want to go. Plus, I've worked really hard to get this net house up. What am I going to do with it? Have I lost all my savings money to build it? And will I be able to re-establish something like this? So at
Sure.
this stage, I was still doing some photography, but my focus was shifting to the flowers. Um, I will never stop photographing, so that is something I still do till today, but it's not my main focus. My main focus is now the flower farming. And I remember crying just before the event, thinking, I'm such a fake person. I'm launching my farm, but I have to move from it.
Yeah.
And I just decided, okay, dry up your tears and go enjoy your party. Like these things happen. You did not plan for this to happen. So just step into it, put on your party dress, and go party. And I did that. And I met somebody a few months prior to that on holiday in George, and her name is also Schantel, and we just got along so well.
Wow.
And we were chatting about the flowers, and I was showing her my Instagram account and telling her my story, and she was just completely sold by the story and said, "Why did you come farm in the garden route?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's something you say around the braai and trying to be nice, you know. You think, oh wow, it's a nice compliment, thank you, but you think it will never happen."
Yes.
So in March, my launch was in February, and in March, she calls me and says, "Chantal, can you just book a ticket and fly here? Can we just talk about this? Don't you want to do a flower farm this side?" And I realized everything has happened for a reason. Like, the farm is being sold. We are struggling to buy land or get another farm. Everything we are interested in already has an offer on it, or, you know, it's not available. And now someone's offering me to go to the garden route, to go garden. And I mean, this farm overlooks the Outeniqua Mountains. It's right next to the airport. It's ideal. And
Sure.
I go and we have this meeting, and my husband and I decide, okay, we've always wanted to relocate to this area so that our children can go to high schools in this area. And we just went for it. We sold everything. We took what we
Wow.
wanted. We got on a truck and 2 cars, and we just drove here and started this side, not
Wow.
knowing if it will be a success. Very
Wow.
similar to die voortrekkers, né? Wat net
Yeah.
hulle osse waar ons gevat het toe gebring
Yeah.
het. Ja, ja.
So that is amazing. Wow. Sure. I'm so happy that things worked out. So where are we at right now?
So fortunately, my husband has an engineering company still running in Springs, and he can work remotely. So COVID taught us that a lot of things can now happen remotely. My kids have re-established in schools this side, and we are on the farm and we're farming. Um, Before we planted anything this side, I see a message on Facebook of a wholesale company exporting flowers. And I send them a message and say, "Oh, I see we're in the same region." And the lady says, "I want to book a meeting with you straight away. Can I meet you on the farm?"
Yes.
A German lady. And she reminds me of my grandmother. Just her look and everything reminds me of my grandmother. And I'm like, "Yes, sure, let's meet." Now, at this stage, I've got an Instagram account, but I don't have a net house anymore. And I have a piece of Lucerne field to show her. I don't have one flower to show her. And I start telling her my story and and they offered me a contract as a
Wow.
wholesaler to buy every single stem that I would grow. And that
Wow.
was before one plant was in the soil.
Yes. Amazing. Sure.
Yeah.
So
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 your
Chantal,
story is important.
your story is extremely important, and everything that has happened to you, every single thing, I recall our very first conversation was, when you were a photographer, and one of the highlights was about some of your work being featured in the Mac, with iPhone, and you go into the iStore and you see it there, and fortunately you are in the photography industry, so you know how to take beautiful pictures of your flowers. You had the opportunity to be just real and honest. You didn't have to protect anything. You can just be real and honest. Say, listen, this is who I am. This is my vision. This is where I'm going. I've had all these challenges, but I'm taking one step at a time. I'm just keeping going, keeping going, keeping going. And they saw something in you that they wanted to be part of, and gave you that opportunity. So wonderful. So I actually want to get you the name of your company. I think it is absolutely beautiful. It's called Vanderfax, and
Yes.
you've got a whole story around this. So tell us the story about how your company name came about.
So in 2016, I just had my second baby. Her name's Laura. And I remember watching a blogging program on E or something, and they had the most interesting names. And I was like, wow, if I was a fashion blogger, what would my name be? And I thought, okay, my surname is Van der Merwe. I mean, there's nothing great about that surname. It's even difficult to type it into a browser. It's so long. But I thought Van der sounds nice. And then a diary, another name for a diary is a Vanderfax.
Yes.
So what about Vanderfax? It's the Van der Merwe family's diary. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to take that. I immediately open the Instagram account with the name so that it's mine and left it there because I'm not a fashion blogger and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And I only realized what to do with it once I started planting flowers and I had to register my business. I'm like, but I've got a name. Let me just use that name.
Yeah.
So the name came many years before, 5 years before the actual business arrived.
Sure. That is amazing. I absolutely love that. Love that, love that. And it's so creative and it incorporates everything that you've done and that you've gone through, the diary of your life, the story of your family. Absolutely stunning. So, having kids, what do you hope a world, if you have a hand in creating a world your kids can grow up and live in, what would you change? What would you shape it into? What would you add on to what we are experiencing at present?
Yeah, I think there's a great shift in the world at the moment, and I think the future millionaires will be people that can work with their hands, that can do something. With AI being able to do so much of what other people can do, I think if you can build something, grow something, make something, you are going to make it. So my mission with my children is to teach them to dream, to teach them to travel, and to teach them to work with their hands to create something. And I've got a motto, and it's even in my house. Like, if you leave a room, leave it better than it was before. So
Sure.
even if you pick up one sock, you've changed that room. And I've got the same feeling about the regenerative farming that we do. So regenerative farming is fixing the soil so that plants can thrive and so that the ecology in the area can thrive. And my mission is to leave this land one day better than it was when I found it.
Sure.
And I think that's something I'd love to teach my kids. Work with your hands, create, and always leave something better than you found it.
Sure, sure. Chantal, that is so inspiring. And, your message is so valid in this day and age. In this day where we have so much uncertainty, we have so much, that is, if we can just go back 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we had such a different life. There was respect for everything, there was time for everybody. And nowadays, I find that, being ambitious is not a bad thing, but it sometimes take away from us being present in our own lives
Yes.
and that of our families. So, what do you do to keep the presence in your family? What do you do for fun? How do you keep that bond going? And do you involve them in what you're doing?
I very much involve my kids and my husband. He's got a full-time job, but he's also the the irrigation specialist, the solar specialist, the engineer. He actually built this unit I'm sitting in. I make them a part of everything because it's the Vanderfax story. My
Yes.
kids have planted plants with me. My kids know how to harvest. My kids know how to feed chickens, how to collect the eggs, how to package my perfume range. They do everything with us. And for relaxation, we love taking them into the outdoors, just going on a hike, paddle boarding, just being outdoors, or even just having a braai at sunset, um, just so they can connect and get away from electronics and also the routines in life. Sometimes it starts to spin and it doesn't stop, and you just go faster and faster. So just to stop for a moment and breathe and just
Yes.
realize there's more to life than all of that.
Sure. And how do you measure success in your personal life, in your business, in your relationships? What does success look like to you?
I think the ultimate success is freedom. Being able to free yourself from burdens, from financial burden, from to be creative is to be free and have freedom. Because I mean, it's difficult to create if you have this very tight schedule. Uh, it's difficult in between to fit in how am I going to design this package, or what does this package have to look like, because you need time and you need to breathe and you need to be in it. And freedom to me means living in the moment, not
Wow.
worrying about the finances and the things that you have to pay, but being in that moment and breathing in the view, or just seeing a beautiful sunset and recognizing those beautiful things, actually saying them, helps you to just embrace it and be in that moment. So I've taught my kids as well. We constantly drive and they would say, oh, look at that beautiful tree, or oh, look at that cloud, it looks like a crocodile. Or so I've taught them to look for these things and see it and appreciate it by announcing it.
Wow. Sure. So that's something that we can all do more of, pay more attention to the things around us and have more gratitude towards our lives. The small little things, if we can't have gratitude for what we are having right now and what we're experiencing right now, we cannot expect our lives to grow beyond that. So, absolutely magic. I love that. So, I know that, sometimes being an entrepreneur, there's a little bit of a imposter syndrome that sometimes sets in. And, what is the next thing, and how am I going to solve this problem? So, what is the inner conversation you have with yourself first thing in the morning to get your day going?
Well, I have learned in the last few months that I can't do everything myself. So I am good at marketing and I'm good at taking photos and I'm a good mom and I'm a good farmer, but you need people around you, and trying to do everything perfect yourself, you're actually just breaking this beautiful cycle of things happening and coming your way. So I've experienced meeting people, the right people at the right time, and I'm like, they are God sent. Because I don't know, there must be some other energy and force in this, because it's impossible. I would meet people. I've got a friend; she's a Canadian flower farmer that actually relocated to George. So she immigrated to South Africa.
Sure.
Now she can't work at the moment. She just comes to volunteer. She would randomly just arrive and plant stuff for me, or and I'm like, are there people like this out there? Like, who does this? It doesn't seem right to me. It's like you have to work to do something, and you have to
Yes.
work to, and you have to always get something if you do something. And she shifted my mind. My neighbor as well, Eileen. She just wanted to help. They want to be outdoors and enjoy something without the burden of it being a job. And to me, in my mind, it doesn't make sense. How can you do something, because I'm business orientated, how can you do something and not get something out of it?
Yeah.
And I realized to them it is about getting the chance to plant something and do something outdoors and enjoy the beauty around them and be with people, because it can get very lonesome. And then I would meet a person who's in events, and she starts doing workshops, and I just meet these people and I start to see the potential in them, and they just start to flourish within my business. And that to me is quite rewarding and actually gives me a lot of freedom, to now be able to go watch my child sport because someone else is just taking a few hours to cover for me. And yeah, same with my staff. They've got such a beautiful way with the animals and with the plants, and they appreciate being here and doing what they're doing.
Sure. That's amazing. That's amazing. So Chantal, my next question is one that I think you will be able to answer within milliseconds. You don't have to think about this one. So having gone through everything that you've gone through, do you see yourself as a visionary or as a gardener?
Jeepers. Visionary. I think visionary. I have to choose the better option because I've actually committed to myself that I'm going to be nicer to myself.
Wow.
And I'm going to see me. I'm going to look in the mirror and see me. So I have to choose the better option. And to me, that is the visionary. And I can be that. Again, it's a challenge. Do it. Step into it and go for it. I'm dreaming. I'm a dreamer. So just dream again.
Wonderful. I love that. I often see and hear from people when they talk to their flowers and talk to their animals. The flowers tend to grow so much better and look so much better. So tell us, what do you say to your flowers what do you say to yourself when you're all by yourself there in the net house looking at the produce? How do you inspire them to grow? What is the conversation you have?
I actually said to myself, like, if you touch something, there's DNA left on it. So if I'm in a positive spirit and if I have hope for the ecology, for this farm, for the environment, and my mission is to make something better, even just by touching it and planting it myself, it might carry it forward. So yeah, I think having a good attitude amongst my crops is also important. They've actually done studies where the way you talk to an animal or a plant affects every cell in you and in them. So playing classical music to plants apparently works, and I can believe that. So just enjoying it now with my team, my little team. We laugh, we have fun, and we try to make the best out of what's happening. So if I'm really tired and down, Eileen would say, it's like running a 10 kilometer. Every step is closer to the end. So pick up the rock. It's just one rock closer to the
Yes.
next, to being finished. So,
Sure.
people really help me move on and
Wow.
stay positive. Yeah.
Sure. So from someone that has, gone through all these life changes and had to reinvent themselves so many different times, if someone listens to this today that have lost everything, that needs to start from scratch, what would you whisper in their ear?
I would say it's a new start. How many people have the opportunity to start from scratch? Leave everything in the back, like what's left or what's done, let it be. You can now decide who's the next person. So see it as an adventure, going on this trip. And this trip is starting from scratch, doing everything from scratch. What is it that you want to do, and how do you want this story to end? So make an adventure of it.
Wow, amazing. And if your children were to watch this one day, what would you want them to get from this? What is the message that you want to leave on this platform today for them?
Um, I think let me think about it. There's a lot there's a lot of things I'm thinking of, but to sum it up, I want them to be able to dream. Just like that little girl in that dollhouse creating a little shop. I mean, all girls do that. Um, Never stop dreaming. Never stop leaving something in a better way. Like never, even if it's just the dishes or your room, you know, just be the change out there, and do everything you love with all everything you have in you, as if you're doing it for God.
Sure. Amazing. That is absolutely stunning. So if you can close your eyes right now and you can look into the future 10 years from now, where do you see yourself? Where do you see Vanderfax? I know you just recently launched this most incredible perfume range, and you're expanding and you're growing all the time. You're looking at different ways that you can make a difference. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Where do you see the soil, the way you farm, the way you do your flowers and the photography and everything? How's it going to come full circle, and where are you going to be in 10 years' time? What do you see for yourself?
Okay. So the farm itself, there's so many beautiful regenerative practices and things you can do, from cleaning your water, from adding cattle and other animals to your farm, and they all work in symbiosis. They all work together in this environment, the one helping the other. I mean, our ducks are eating the slugs, so we don't have to use pesticides to kill the slugs, for instance. And our chickens eat the lice, but the chickens are also giving us free-range eggs to sell.
Wow.
So I'd love this farm to feed people, not just food and not just beautiful flowers, but be a space where people can learn how to do this in their own garden, but also a space for them where they can come connect, where they can be quiet, where they can enjoy the environment. So for the farm, I'd love that. I'd love beautiful tree crops, and I'd love water systems on our dams, and I'd love a fish farm in the dam, and like potential in everything for people to enjoy, but that can become a product to sell. That is my dream for the farm itself. For the flowers, I want it to be a household name. Like, if you want beautiful flowers, and if you want flowers that haven't touched any pesticides, then that are clean and sustainably grown, you would know the name Vanderfax. For the perfume, that again is one of our products that there's so much potential in that. And I want people to know the brand. I want it to be a beautiful brand, and I want beautiful ambassadors to promote this brand. But for my personal life, I would love to take my children and my family and experience the world and come back with knowledge and apply it to the farm. Go do workshops abroad. Go do, just travel and see things. See how the Japanese people, for instance, style their flowers, or see how the French actually make their perfumes, or anything that can be used to leave this place better than we found it.
Sure. Yeah, that was going to be my next question. What is the secret, another secret that you are nurturing there, that you have planned for the farm? And I can just see how one thing leads to the next thing, leads to the next thing. And, with all the inspiring work that you're doing there and the changes that you're making there, I'm pretty sure in the near future, you're going to be forming a lot of new partnerships, a lot of new people that's going to come into your life, you're going to come into their life, and you're going to do some incredible things moving forward. So, Schantel, how do we get a hold of you if we want some of your flowers, or we want some of your perfumes, or, we just want to come and pop in on the farm and say, listen, let's have a look at what you're doing?
So I think the best way would be through our social media. We've got a Facebook page, Vanderfax, and then on Instagram we are Vanderfax Blooms. We also have a website where we offer subscriptions to people, and we send them our flowers. For our farm visits, we actually have open days where we open the farm. For instance, this Saturday we're hosting a beautiful workshop where you cut your own flowers and we teach you how to arrange it in different vases. We've had one where you can set a table. So we showed people how to fold napkins and do this beautiful floral table when you host a party. And then we
Sure.
also have a wreath making one in November where we teach people to make a wreath for Christmas or for any event that you want to hang up, and all of that combining our products and our flowers into it. We do offer U-cut as well in December on Saturdays. People can come and cut their own flowers. But these are all usually booking related, so you have to book it on Quicket. So it's not just arriving and doing it, you have to book your spot. And then, of course, we go to the George Family Market, the Ataniqua Family Market on Saturdays, where we sell all our fresh flowers. And on Fridays, we've got something called our Bouquet Club. Now,
Sure.
this Bouquet Club is for anyone that love flowers. We actually go to a beautiful coffee shop in Mossel Bay where you can enjoy a cup of coffee, and we exhibit all our flowers, and you can actually pick and make your own bouquet. And this
Sure.
is usually where the ladies test our perfumes and enjoy our products. We will have an online store in the future where we sell our perfume range, but for now it's exclusive to our Bouquet Club if you want to purchase it. And in December we also sell at the Boere Vintage Market at the Red Berry Farm.
Sure.
Another way would be for you to join our Bouquet Club, and that's via WhatsApp. There's a link on our Instagram page where you can actually send us a message and we add you to our Bouquet Club group. There you'll have first, you'll hear first about all our events and all our, even what we have available for the week, flower-wise, and launches and parties and Garden Day. We celebrate Garden Day every year. For those kind of things, it's good to be on the Bouquet Club group. Yeah.
Wonderful. Sure. Schantel is so exciting, and I can see that we're definitely going to have to do another interview at some stage to get an update on how things are going and where you are going in the future. And I will most certainly leave your contact details on the platform here, so you guys can find her details on the description below. So as we wrap this up, I want to thank you for being open and honest and being just 100% authentic in your approach and sharing with us today your journey. It's so inspiring to see where every single challenge you took it on, not as a challenge, you took it on as feedback and see, right, what else can I do? It's not what happens to me, it's how I respond to what happens to me. And you chose to respond in a way that would not just benefit yourself or your family, but everybody and everyone around you. So I'm really inspired by your story today. Thank you so much. And in closing, can you give me one word that will define your life when you're no longer here?
That's a difficult question. I think, like, there's so many words coming up, but to me it's either regenerate. Regenerate is turning something into something good, fixing what was broken and leaving it better. So
Wow.
regenerate.
Regenerate. Well, we're going to put that in bold letters, and we're most certainly going to remember you by that. But until we see each other again the next time, I want to say thank you very, very much. And thank you very much for helping us to find some answers to life's questions. This was very, very enjoyable. And I want to sign off by saying, I will look after me for you. Will you please look after you for me and for everyone that is watching today?
Wow. Wow.
All right.
Thank you so much.
It was really lovely talking to you. Until we see each other again, have a lovely day. Thank you so much.